What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with a Friday edition of MLB and NBA Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. It is a long MLB season. I have said this traditionally. The last two end of Marches, Aprils have not been good to me, so be very light. Be very light with your play here in the early going. I promise you, we will get the wheels turning. That being said, pretty neutral day for me, aside from couldn't find a home run if I fell out of a boat into an ocean full of water. Yeah, couldn't have found it. I don't understand that analogy or my use of it there, but you know what I mean. It was not pretty in that department, but overall had some decent stuff. Baltimore just beat the living bejesus out of Toronto. That was useful to me. We'll see how things go in the evening window. The Athletics game just about to start here in Seattle. First five there. I think I'm going to, we'll talk about first five here again because I've already bet it. So 2 times we're going to be spinning around that wheel. But it is a long MLB season. Be very, very careful with your unit sizing here. Don't go crazy, but it does seem like the ball is flying. I know it's a one-day sample size, but it was nice to see some homers right from the get-go. Austin Wells leadoff homer, although it would have only been a home run in Yankee Stadium. These are important things on Baseball Savant to pay attention to. Lots of stuff that I'm paying attention to. I'll tell you what I learned, what we can learn from today, and use it going forward. Got a couple of MLB plays for you. Have 2 NBA plays, one of which is actually technically the old lean like, because I haven't bet it yet. There's no line available, but there is no way that I am not betting it, and I need you to know that. So that being said, we do all of the unit tracking here throughout this program. That has been the fun part, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday were slam dunks, quite literally, in the NBA streets. Missed one play over the course of 3 days on the video. And MLB, it's okay to be in neutral here because I promise you, I've said this so many times, including just at the beginning of this video, we will get things rolling. It's been my best sport. Everybody who watches me understands that I can do this for you. So that being said, Lindy 1-4, Portfolio EV, tons of new markets popping up here. We'll talk about them after the lean portion. So producer Jacob, he's ready to rock. I'm ready to roll. We got a lot of baseball to talk about first. Let's get to the leans, shall we? And our first look at the Colorado Rockies, Tampa Bay Rays. They did not play on Thursday, but an interesting situation for them because the guy that they would want to have get the ball, Shane McClanahan, he is not going to be out there because he got hurt. Hopefully he's okay and avoids having to have surgery again because he's an absolute stud. But Ryan Pepio is going to be the guy getting the ball for them. A little bit different situation. They have Shane Baz. They've got Taj Bradley, who got a ton of pitches in his last stint at AAA. We'll talk about him over the weekend in the premium Discord because I don't do this video on Saturday, Sunday. But Kyle Freeland on the other side, 279 expected batting average, terrible. 345 ex-WOBA in 2024, terrible. 10.6% barrel percentage, terrible. Tampa Bay, they're also not going to be playing in Tropicana because, well, it's a much better situation for runs. And I don't know if that's really being encapsulated right from the get-go here with this number. But Junior Caminero, I mean, this guy had an unbelievable fall. Yeah, you heard me, fall. Playing out there in the Dominican, smashing baseballs. Wish I had some metrics on some of those home runs he hit. But plus 240 for walks. His walk rate was way down. But part of that was he was a little bit swing happy over the course of last season. I think he improved a lot of the plate discipline stuff over that fall. Again, sometimes it's good to get some baseball, not overseas, but down south, I suppose is the right way of saying it. But Junior Caminero, he'll be playing hot corner there a little bit, DHing some to him. Christopher Morel from the Cubbies, who got traded at the halfway point last season. Pay attention to that. But I did a lot of breaking down of it. That's weird that plus 240. I just think we can get a better number than what DK opened at. They're the only book available with it. That's why I haven't bet it yet. We got Boston, Texas up next. And Jack Leiter is a pitcher that I want you paying attention to. He kind of got jerked around last season. That's a weird way of phrasing that. But what I'm getting at is that I think he's going to have great strikeout stuff. It's just a question of what else happens. He had a 507 expected slugging, 376 ex-WOBA, 44.6% hard hit, and a 16.4 degree launch angle on that. Arlington played with the roof open today. We saw some home run balls. Will Abreu, how you doing? Bet he moves up from the 7 hole tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe he doesn't. But on the other side, Tanner Houck, not somebody I generally like to go up against, although it's our boy Corey Seager's first look at a righty this season. All righty, Braves, San Diego. That's up next. I got so close to betting it, but I've got 2 money lines that I do prefer. They're actually, there's going to be another first 5 that gets thrown out there as well on this video. might have spoiled it a little bit earlier, but as you're looking at the Braves in San Diego really avoided strikeouts against Chris Sale. I think they're going to continue to do that against a guy like Reynaldo Lopez, kids, and I got to take all of that ass to showbiz. And Dylan Cease, 210 expected batting average, awesome. 29.4% K rate, great. But the 8.5% barrel percentage, a little bit of hard contact, does walk too many guys from time to time, 8.5%, 9% walk rate over the course of the last 2 years. He's a really good pitcher. He gets a lot of respect, but San Diego money line's hard to pull the trigger on here because, well, Reynaldo Lopez can get some swing and miss, and it shouldn't happen against San Diego, but just one of those spots where a small sample size, I'll stick away. Cubs going up against Arizona, Corbin Carroll going up against a number of varieties. You're going to see him move up to the 2-hole in those situations. And Jameson Taillon, I really don't believe in anything that he did last season. He does avoid walks. He does avoid barrels. But the Cubs had Wrigley Field basically flip on its head, and I think it's inflated a lot of the numbers. You look at some of the home road splits for, well, every pitcher for the Cubs organization. You're going to see some interesting metrics, that's for sure. So Jameson Taillon, I'm going to go out of my way to pick on him. I'm not going to pick on Merrill Kelly, one of the stands here of our program. Had a terrible year last year, 340 xWOBA, 10.5% barrel percentage, but I do see improvement because I still think the stuff is filthy. Oh, and Shohei Ohtani, he goes yard there against the bullpen of Detroit here today. Not sure that we get the kind of number I'm looking for at open. We're waiting for it still, but you look through Detroit, you get Jack Flaherty, any righty that starts going up against Ohtani, you got to have some interest inside. Well, outside it would be, you would want it to be greater than plus 230. We'll see if we end up getting that there in LA, but pretty neutral hitting environment. And on the other side of this one for the Dodgers, we're going to get a look at Yoshi on sea. It's on land. It'd be weird if on sea. It's not like he was pitching on the sea in Japan either, but you know what I mean. Yamamoto, excited to see him. He was getting tons of ground ball stuff. Might look at betting Detroit 0 runs in that game between him and the bullpen. I really don't trust anything out of Detroit here. Riley Green, maybe yard. Did have a Spencer Torkelson bomb out of the middle of nowhere to screw up that under 6.5 that we had. That did not feel good. And then Ohtani goes yard after it. But either way, those are your leans. Let's get to some likes, shall we? But first, Portfolio EV. Lindy 14 is your 14-day free trial. It is generally 7 days for a free trial, but you head to the link below, Lindy 14. It gets you 14 days of the tool. And what is the tool, you ask? Well, it is a market-based betting approach. That is what it is. We have the best tool in the entire industry to help you identify not just the best line and where to find it, but which lines have historical ROIs that are positive, the expected values, getting you the best possible number on top of being able to tell you, oh, this market performs really, really well on this book. Hey, you have fliff in a state like Texas or California? Well, Lindy 14 can get you access down below to be able to get you those best plays no matter where they exist. And then if you're in a state like Arizona, Illinois, New York, tons of bets, tons of offering, easy to get volume down on a day in, day out basis. If you have questions, I've got answers at Eric Lindquist over on X. Also check out Dave Locker and Lofty's videos. Check out everybody's videos there on the Odd Shopper channel here. All you do is go to that bottom left corner. You click on the Odd Shopper link here to the YouTube channel. Check out some of those portfolio EV highlights and get rocking. Hey, you got 14 days free to try it out right now. Lindy 14, back to the picks we go. Oh, similar to yesterday, we start our boarding walk. Hey, it started off with a W. Thank you very much for Baltimore's offense really showing out. This one's kind of an interesting one, though, because I don't expect them to just go completely scorched earth on the world, but Toronto used up a couple of bullpen arms. Now, Yadier Rodriguez, I have no idea. He was just giving up bombs there in the 8th. Westberg goes yard. They have so many bombers. Tyler O'Neill, 6th straight opening day. Probably should have bet that one, huh, Eric? Past results are not indicative of future results. But, still Tyler O'Neill smashes baseball. But I don't know why I couldn't say that. Anyway, I am going to say that Baltimore looks intriguing against Kevin Gausman coming off of his worst season in the big leagues. 42.4% hard hit, 333 xWOBA, 449 expected slugging, 9.7% barrel percentage. And my reasoning of just going to the money line here is, well, Toronto played with the roof open there at the Rogers Center for a little bit, closed it up. Actually, they did close it up there before first pitch. I'm a liar. I literally was watching it happen. But Baltimore money line, the whole point of this, That bullpen is untapped. They are still ready to rock. They completely blew them out. They didn't have to use Bautista or any of their main arms in that bullpen, and I've got them ranked as the top 3 bullpen that we're getting at plus money. And Charlie Morton, not my favorite back in the entire world, but up against Gaussman, I think this is pretty neutral. Should be closer to even money. Give me the plus 110 side for sure. Pitt taking on Miami, and they did everything they could to make that one a sweat, baby sweat. Yeah, it was a sweat if you are a Pittsburgh Pirate fan, and then you lost the game 5-4 in the later stages of that game for sure. Paul Skeens got himself into a little bit of trouble here and there, but overall, friends, these are 2 offenses that are just abysmal. It didn't really hit me how bad this lineup was, because, I mean, I went through iterations of it yesterday, and it wasn't pretty, but, like, having it officially hit your phone and just reading off the lineup card made you vomit a little bit. Do you want me to go through the ins and outs of it? I don't think I have to regurgitate everything from yesterday, but we might as well just pull it up here. I'm going to pull it up while we're talking about it because, again, this is early on in the MLB season. Xavier Edwards, Kyle Stowers, Jonah Bride, something named Matt Mervis was batting cleanup and had to look into him yesterday. Otto Lopez, Griffin Conine, Derek Hill, Graham Pauley, and Nick Fortes. Even the most passionate MLB fans are going to know like 1.5 names, maybe 2.5 names on that list. No Jake Berger, no Brian De La Cruz, no Jazz Chisholm, none of those guys. Actual major leaguers. It is an absurdly bad Miami roster. Can't say a lot of better things about the other side there for Pittsburgh. You have Pham, Reynolds, Cruz, Bart, I think is a really good catching option there too. A batted cleanup today. Andrew McCutchen, we've seen him not taking on a lefty. That is what it is, but I love the under here. We're talking Miami. It is such a great opportunity. Under 7.5 runs, even if the roof's open there. Feel really good about Pittsburgh being able to just mitigate some of the damage here with the Miami side. Man, they are atrocious. I mean, they could be worse than the White Sox. That's wild to say. Neither of these teams are going to be worse than the White Sox. Don't love the Mets rotation for what it's worth. I think that's a major blemish for them, but whatever. They're taking on the Houston Astros here on this side. We get to back one of my favorite guys in baseball from last season, Hunter Brown, or last 2 seasons really, 30.3% hard hit, 4.5% barrel percentage, 27% K rate against lefties that was, 25.1% overall. But Tyler McGill, this is probably the most inconsistent pitcher there. 2 years ago, had an unbelievable year for the Mets. Last year, couldn't even find a rotation spot consistently. 10% barrel percentage, 42.6% hard hit. Now, the thing about most of these Houston Astros at the top of the lineup, whether it's Alvarez or Paredes or Pena or Diaz or Altuve, they don't strike out. And if you're going to give up a 10% barrel percentage up against those 5 specifically, you're going to run into some baseballs. I really like the idea of backing a -130 Houston here. Talked about it yesterday. I just think this is going to be a good setup overall here for Houston. Paredes to the Crawford boxes with the pull hitting tendencies that he has. I think overall we're going to see Houston be a dangerous team. I mean, the AL West is wide open. I have a 30-1 ticket on Oakland for what it's worth. But overall, Houston money line at -130. Mets bullpen too. They've got middle relievers that aren't so good. Tyler McGill, man, up against Hunter Brown. Huge pitching mismatch. This isn't a mismatch, friends. $15 off your first week or month using Lindy MLB down below. Now, Lindy 5 obviously still works, and that's $15 off of the $20 for a week. So same deal, Lindy 5 for the week. But this is $15 off a month as well. If you haven't checked out the Lindy and Friends Discord, it's got some good stuff. Not just myself, but Greg Ehrenberg now added. Oh yeah, my friends, we got Greg Ehrenberg telling the future over there. He is one of the best, if not the best futures bettor that I have ever witnessed, period. And I've gotten to witness it for 5 years working with him at Stochastic and OddsShopper. The guy is a certified genius. He's got a bunch of futures plays already posted in the MLB. He's going to have NBA coming down the pipeline. He'll have anything that comes to his mind in the futures department. The guy cashed over $15,000. Over $15,000 on Corbin Burns in 2021, taking down the Cy Young. He looks ahead into his crystal ball, and he will help you make money. Oh, and you got myself and Eitan Shander, of course. Lindy and Friends is just popping, friends. So if you guys want to check it out, Lindy MLB, that's $5 to try it out for a week. And hey, if you want to check out the month, $35 there, $15 off the $50 monthly. Would love to see you there. All righty, y'all, back to the picks we go. We got one more in the MLB, of course. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell as we break down Oakland going up against Seattle in lower variance baseball yet again as we head to the great Northwest. It is a ballpark, T-Mobile, that just confines power, but said it yesterday, I'll say it again, Athletics, I think, are very interesting back. They're an interesting back day in, day out in the early going because I think their bats are going to be a lot livelier than what other people think. And then you get Jeffrey Springs in an Oakland Athletics uniform. One of the major reasons that I have some hope, that I have some faith, if he can have a comeback season, again, 46.2% hard hit was a problem, but he had a sub 300 xWOBA last year in a limited sample, 227 expected batting average. He's got great metrics and he's always had strikeout stuff, 26.1%. There was a four-seamer slider change, and boy, is that change fun to watch come out of his hand. South Park, you could be my Jeffrey Springs. Shout out all my Fleetwood Mac people. But Luis Castillo on the other side, yeah, he's very lucky to play in this ballpark. 42% hard hit, 404 expected slugging, 8.5% barrel percentage. I love the first five. I really think Jeffrey Springs is going to have a big year. I want to be early to the party on him. I need to be early to the party for him. I need 1 or 2 runs from the Athletics. And I think Jeffrey Springs will get it done here. Probably doesn't go the full 5 innings, but first 5, really like that idea in a ballpark such as Seattle that confines power, should play to lower variance baseball. You avoid some of the long ball and we'll be in good shape. Played the first 5 here on Thursday, playing it again on Friday. Check out Bet365, bet $5, get $150 down at the link below. It's in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Illinois, Louisiana, North Carolina. Come on and raise up. Take your shirt off, twist it around your head, spin it like a helicopter. New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia. This just is straightforward, friends. Bet365, it's one of the best books you can possibly bet at. All you do is deposit $10 or more. You heard me, $10 or more at the link below. You bet $5, you'll get $150 in bonus bets no matter what that $5 bet does. So check it out at the link below, only for 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Cool, great, grand. NBA lean time. Let's party. I really do appreciate everybody's feedback that they really enjoyed the way that we do this because I want to get you the information. And this is the only way that I know how to get you all of my plays and be able to talk you through everything because there's so much data I'm doing here behind the scenes. It's just too much to try to give you analysis for every single game down the pipeline. Just know that I've put in the work already. We'll talk you through the finer points and hopefully give you some information. That Olynyk assist ladder, that one's very, very intriguing to me. But we've got Cleveland taking on Detroit, and Cleveland ends up sitting Ty Jerome on the front end of this back-to-back. But Evan Mobley, he was resting as well. What do we do here in this spot? Because Cleveland's shown that they'll rest one of Garland or Mitchell or anything here. And that has me leaning towards Detroit. But right now, if everything is being equal and Cleveland is actively trying to win this game, again, they're close to securing that 1 seed. But until they do, I think they're live to play everybody in competitive spots like this. Just not sure on a back-to-back if it happens. Detroit money line the lean. That's the reason. The fuck you want me to tell you about this? Charlotte, Toronto? Sorry, my voice cracked. I'm a man. Anyway, New York taking on Milwaukee. This is far more interesting to me. The Knicks money line, I think, is intriguing just because you've got that Q tag for Giannis. We know that Damian Lillard's going to be out with the deep vein thrombosis, which is just brutal for Milwaukee fans. Bobby Portis is 6 games away from returning. They're going to need him very, very badly here if you're going to have Dame out just to try to survive 1 round, maybe get Dame back later. His health is the priority. But Giannis, do they just completely punt this? I doubt it, but one thing to pay attention to, Campaign out, Miles McBride out, Jalen Brunson out. Those are 3 point guards. Tyler Kolek from Marquette last season, rookie this year, is going to be your starting point guard. He started the second half once Campaign went down with injury. Kind of intrigued at assists for him because Miles McBride wasn't really creating. Jalen Brunson wasn't really creating. Tyler Kolek can actually create. Very curious to see where books open his numbers. So hopefully you're listening to the information because I think that could be just as valuable, if not more valuable, on the lean section than some of the individual plays. But Olynyk assist ladder, we've seen that assist rate go up without Zion on the floor. We also, are going to be missing a lot of the main Pelicans. I mean, they've been missing the main Pelicans all season long. CJ McCollum, he's out with the right foot contusion. Zion Williamson, low back contusion. Just make up an injury, contusion. DeJounte Murray and Trey Murphy actually have injuries, and they're out for the season. Olynyk assist ladder, pay attention to it. And Phoenix money line, plus 240. Last year, we saw Phoenix go into Minnesota right before the playoffs, win a game that they really needed to, had the home court, and then Minnesota just throttled them. Throttled them. 4-0 sweep. It was beautiful stuff. Shout out my Timberwolves. But Phoenix money line's kind of intriguing considering Kevin Durant, Devin Booker playing tons of minutes here coming down the stretch. They need to win basketball games. They laid an egg against Boston. I think they play a little bit more inspired ball against my Wolves, which again, it's not data-based, more ball-based, but plus 240, more than 2-1 with those two on the floor might be worth a stab against my team. All right, 2 plays. Let's get to them. The first one I give your way, the Clippers taking on Brooklyn. You probably know where I'm going with this. Brooklyn, the slowest paced team by a mile in the NBA, and then you reduce it over like the last 10, last 20 over in the NBA stats page. Well, as I uploaded it into my sheet, holy mother of God, but right around 94 possessions on average. Like, we're talking the slowest team by a mile in the National Basketball Association. The other part of this is Brooklyn. They've played a lot of games here recently. Zaire Williams questionable, Trendon Watford questionable. You do have D'Lo off the injury report for now, but nothing really shocks me. Day'Ron Sharpe going to continue to be out for him. They have nobody to really generate offense outside of D'Lo out on the floor. Keon Johnson has had moments, but not very consistent in that department. And Cam Johnson, he's off the injury report, which is a huge deal. He'll probably take over a lot of playmaking duties if, something happens to D'Lo whatsoever as a surprise scratch, but Clippers defense, man. Chris Dunn, this dude is just out there doing crazy things. You get Ben Simmons for your 16, 18 minutes a game. Awesome piece off the bench defensively. Does he have revenge in his heart for the team that took a chance on him and actually took care of his health? Probably shouldn't have revenge in his heart, but maybe he feels that way. Just saying, the under looks awesome to me. This would be borderline lock on a lot of slates, but we got MLB volume coming alongside our NBA volume. Want to be careful. Plus, it's been an awesome NBA week. Don't want to get too cute, but under 215, I like it. To the last play we go. Now, you can see on the side of your screen, our very last play, NA. It is not available, but I ran the numbers over here, so I want to at least throw out what I have projected. 130, 112.5. Let me repeat that one more time for you. The Nuggets, I have it 130 because Jokic got back in our lives. The Jazz 112.5. There are no numbers available for this, so I'm just literally throwing my data out there for you. I would be betting this up to around that 17.5 number. Now, the main reason is that the range of outcomes beyond the 17.5, there are so many blowout scenarios where through 3 quarters, they just go nutty here. But I'm a little bit worried because Utah's on the back-to-back. If this opens north of the 17.5, we have to stay away, and I'm going to feel like an idiot. But I think it opens in like that 15.5, 16 range, and I am going to fire it for a half unit immediately. You got Jokic, Gordon, Porter Jr., Brown, and Jamal Murray out on the floor together, and Jamal Murray's questionable, but Utah's injury report could look redonkulous tomorrow. Does Sexton play on a back-to-back? Does Lauri Markkanen come off of the this reconditioning illness stuff that they keep talking about? John Collins is out for the season. We can basically throw that out. Kyle Filipowski probably going to start at the 5 this time around instead of one Walker Kessler, who more than likely doesn't play on the back-to-back. Utah did get in trouble, which has me thinking more than likely the rest of the crew has to be playing basketball in this one. Keontae George, what ends up happening there? I bet he plays, but no matter what, this is just a Denver team that gets the best player in the NBA back. They should run Utah out of the gym. Utah, offensively, I might look at their team totals as well, but for now, Denver by 1 million. Denver by 1 million. Would bet this up to minus 17.5. Wanted to repeat that for you. Incredible opportunity here, I think. Don't throw Leans likes into the like section. First time I've done that in 3-4 weeks of doing this and keeping track of everything for you on this program with the recaps coming Sunday. Think it's a really good spot. And that does it for a Friday final week edition of MLB and NBA Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know how your opening day was. Mine, pretty mediocre so far. Hopefully the evening window can rectify some of that here. Can I get a first 5 across the board for Oakland? That would feel really, really good for the old bankroll. Obviously, the home run department needs to get going, needs to get churning. Don't have any here right now. I promise you, I will have home run plays in the premium Discord. Maybe around Robin. Anyway, Lindy14, 14-day free trial down below, as well as Lindy MLB. If you're looking to sign up for the premium Discord, if you use Lindy5, that's the same thing. It'll be $5 for your first week, $15 off of the $20 weekly, but it's also $15 off a monthly if you're looking for that. Thank you, Producer Jacob. Tons of work by Producer Jacob. Give him some love here. Crazy week here in the streets, but I think we're set up for success going forward. I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB and NBA streets on Friday.